Hello everyone. So I made this. This is a collage that I negative painted over. Then I used some alcohol markers to brighten things up. It took forever. It took days. It's a long video which I have not edited yet, but I suspect it'll be long. I talk a lot, and if you feel like watching me make this on this table, then that's what we're going to do. And my clicker is broken, so I have to go turn my phone off. So bye. Everyone, I had so much fun yesterday making the video that I just published a while ago that I'm back, but this time I'm going to play in my sketchbook because I'm a little less stressed when I play in my sketchbook. But what I'm going to play with is I have a wad of papers that I've used in recent collages, and I'd like to play with them. There's so many delightful things in here. What I'd really like to focus on is not new papers, but slices of papers. So again, I've dressed up for you. I'm wearing my bathrobe. I put on jewelry so that so that it's not so insulting that I would come to you in my pajamas. But what I want to do is go through this wad of paper and pull out a bunch of slices, which I suspect are going to be right here. And I want to do something with them. I don't know what, but you'll find out. You'll find out when I find out. Let's see what happens, shall we? What I'd like to challenge myself to do is just cover these pages with slices without real concern about what they are and how they relate to one another. That's what I'm saying. We'll see. We'll see if it's true. See, these are large slices. I want to play with these. I want to play with these tiny little scraps. And I think the fastest way to get started is, rather than laying them out, let's just glue them down. But I want to make sure that you're in camera. Okay, I'm going to use matte gel medium because it's fast to spread. Get this right into the corner there. This has got a collage on the back side of it already. Okay, let's use this raggedy paintbrush. Yeah, I'm just gonna lay some things out and see what happens. Maybe paint between it, maybe, I don't know. Stop speculating, Sheree. You have no idea what you're going to do. But I'll tell you what I had fun doing yesterday with that collage that I published yesterday. I wasn't that worried about what was going to happen. And it was very entertaining to just lay out papers and see what happens. I'd like to do that again. Okay. So these are scraps from my last several videos since I started trying to integrate my digital papers into my artwork, which I do not regret for a second. Those papers are so pretty, and they have been in those papers, these papers, been in folders in my computer forever. 10 years, 15 years, 2010, 17. Yeah, a very long time. Nobody ever saw them. I rarely looked at them. And it wasn't until I discovered collage artist Anna Carl that it occurred to me, because she integrates her. I've told this story before, but I have a lot of new people. She integrates her. She started out as a graphic designer. I worked as a graphic designer. I designed product using Photoshop and Procreate. So she would use her own digital work that she created whenever, and she would also design things specifically for collages that she was working with. I was blown away by her work. Her work absolutely speaks to me. It is everything I would like to be. Let's get that down. This paintbrush might be absorbing too much glue. This is going away. Let's dig out my old trusty. I think this is probably one of the earliest paintbrushes I've ever owned. What else do I have here? Sure. So when I saw her collage work, it totally spoke to me because she combines collage with paint. Okay, wasn't expecting that, but whatever. So it caused me to start looking at my own digital art and thinking, why am I not using this work? Why do I feel like I need to reinvent the wheel and pretend I never created before? So I dug it out and I showed it to a few people. And a few people were like, hey, I would use that. So it's out there now. It's out there, and it's pretty. It's fun to work with. It's inexpensive to be able to work with. Some of it's pretty accomplished. Not all of it, you know, because you go through different stages. Go through different stages as an artist. So some of it is work that I'm very proud of, and others of it is just work. Just me playing with an online program called Polyvore, which without notice went out of business, taking everyone's creative work with it. They actually gave us downloads of our work, 3 inches square. 3-inch square images that were so small there was literally nothing you could do with it. But I ended up running it through Photoshop, through a couple of filters, and resizing it and running it through more filters, and it became usable enough. So preparing it for putting it in groups and packaging it, that was a project. I did not did not, when I first started it, I did not think I had the technical skill to do what I wanted to do and offer a quality product, but I figured it out. So this is going to be a background layer for something. And we'll figure out what's going to go on top of it. Some of these are actual photocopies of my gel prints. I've got these huge sheets that are hanging on the wall. When you watch my intros, you'll see behind me on my left, all these sheets. I rigged up this dowel system to hang them. And I had a very, very hard time using them because I turned them into something precious. I was afraid to use them, and then when I got the idea to offer digital art, I realized I could actually make photocopies. So I scanned it all into my computer, and eventually those will make it onto the papers, but I don't have enough coordinating artwork to offer those yet. If I remember, I'll try to point them out during the intro. So this book that I'm using, for those of you who don't remember it, I went into Goodwill one day looking for framed art that I could paint or collage over. And I think they've figured out that people do that because the prices of the art, you'd have thought I was buying original art by some famous artist. Ridiculous prices for garbage art. A lot of print-on-demand canvases that were not of good quality. All right, let's see how I'm going to do this. Let me move this off to the left. And I ended up coming home with this book for 92 cents, guys. I know that it seems like it's sacrilege to wreck a big book like this, but this book is about American. It's a map book, National Geographic map book that was written in the 60s. With a little bit of American history in it, which I think is totally fake news, which is not a popular opinion, but it's my opinion, and I get to have it. I wonder if I should try digging out my not liquid paint. See if it buckles less. My wedge. I introduce this to you guys every video. Princeton Catalyst Wedge. It's a silicone thing that I use to spread glue and paint and stuff like that. Let's get some of this pretty blue. I, for some reason, want to work with straight lines. My design history is pretty much all straight lines, all grid. I started out as a quilter. Before there were really, we had computers, but barely. So I started out making quilts before my son was born in 93. And then I found Polyvore in 2010. Let me rest this for a minute and give this a try. This is Liquitex matte gel medium, which I buy unfortunately, on Amazon, and I'm almost certain it's listed. You know, all of us creatives they want us to be, they call us influencers. I'm an influencer guy. All right, so we get an Amazon store, and if we put stuff in the Amazon store and link it, and you guys buy it, we get like 38 cents. It's a real moneymaker, guys. I'm like rolling in the cash because of it. But the nice thing about it is that if you're interested in a particular product, if you see me use something that you like, you can find out what it is, and I can make a little bit of cha-ching. So one of the things that I did in an earlier sketchbook thing that I might do with this, it's got to dry pretty good though. If you go back a little bit further in my video thing, you'll find a very colorful, it's bright fuchsia, pink, magenta. You'll see it's got a little hand-drawn flower in it. And what I did was neurographic art. And neurographic art is sort of I think people offer it as, this actually is better glue for this book. They offer it as almost like a healing modality, a stress reducer. And it's just drawing these organic lines and filling in across this way and down that way, and filling in the corners with a little bit of sketching. And then I started coloring things in, which gave me some results that I was very excited about. I was using at the time water-based markers. I have since replaced them with Ohuhu alcohol-based markers, which I do like better. What's in here? Let's have a little bit of this. Give me some scissors. Give me some invisible scissors. So all of this stuff this is all photocopies. None of this is any of my original stuff, which I have found. Sometimes, sometimes if you guys are gel printing, sometimes you make something that's like a miracle. Can't even believe you made it. And then you're afraid to tear it up and use it, so you hoard it. Yeah, me too. I have to keep reaching up and looking to see if I still have my camera on, because I've recorded a great deal of art in the past week without turning my camera on, which does not yield very useful results. Okay, I'm going to go quiet for a couple minutes. That way I can maybe zoom through this a little bit more. I have done this thing. Now I am going to go over to our well house with another board member and clean it. So I'm going to let this dry. Do I have sunshine? If I have sunshine, this is going outside. And I'll be back to figure out what the next phase of this is going to be. Okay, so this stuff is dry. And I'm going to, I don't know, I have this. I have this pile of newsprint and torn up copy paper. I think I'm going to do, to start, is resort to a process I did a lot when I referenced Rex Ray, which was cutting out shapes and gluing them down to add some neutral to this background. You'll see. Let me show you what I want to do. I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, just this random, this is just newsprint, and I am going to cut scoops or hoops or whatever is the appropriate word. And I'm going to, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do before doing it. Drive everybody crazy. Watch. Watch me. Watch what I'm going to do. You'll recognize it. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll recognize it. Is my head sticking in? Because you guys know how much I love it when when my head sticks in. Okay. So see what that does? I'm going to just put these hoops. This is one of the things that I noticed that Rex Ray did that I had so much fun with. And I think it's because it's not hard to do, and it really does result in some very interesting layers. See how this is going to make interesting shapes. Interlocking opposite shapes. Smooth. The newsprint is so thin and absorbs so quickly. It's also vulnerable to tearing. So what I just did, scrubbing, it won't last long. But I'm going to do that again. This will be repetitious, but I think you might like, I know I will, what it does to shapes. I remember doing this over some pieces that I was ambitiously trying to transform. Some of the stuff I covered up. It was so lovely. Let's see if we can do it again. So instead of having those big blocky areas of collage, I created something that's just a little bit organic. Newsprint does not like to get wet. But once it does, it's pretty easy to move around. I've said this in another video, but I find these, I guess I kind of call them hoops. I find them very easy collage technique when you don't know what to do and you'd like to create a background. Now it's broken up all those lines. This has become much softer than the angularity of this. Thinking about it, I want to show you what I did to this, which I posted yesterday. I removed most of my drawing. I ended up putting in leaves here, which I wish I had thought of. I did not like my vine. It didn't feel like it belonged there. I ended up adding dark around here, but when you try to paint it out, I ended up using like a brush pen. It smears. So I'm a little bit happier with those leaves. They might need a little bit of pen work, but I'm just going to let it percolate for a while. So that's what happened to that. That already makes me happy. Now, maybe I'll try this side in copy paper. Let's do this. Just for a difference in color, because this has got some bright colors in it. So let's see what happens when we do that. That could work. I'm going to make these little hoops thinner. This paper is a little bit thicker. so it might be easier to glue down without buckling. We'll see. This is copy paper, but my friend bought it at like a dollar store. So I don't remember what the poundage is, but it's very, very thin relative to normal copy paper. Yeah, anybody can do this. Guys, if you've never made a collage in your life, you can cover up the back of a sketchbook page or a piece of cardstock with images. I actually prefer the look of this newsprint more, but it's okay. We'll keep going. I think what's fun about these, for me, these digital papers, other than using work that I've created finally, is that they're got a lot of detail, which you don't get when you are working with gel prints. You get a lot of painted textures, but this has a lot of visual texture, which I really enjoy. I really enjoy looking at. It shines through. You know, I wouldn't be able to get that, you know, I wouldn't have the time to make that many dots. And that's the easier way to put it down. Glue one side and then wrap it around. Yep. See how nice and flat those have gone down? They still buckle, but not as much. That's kind of fun. That little area right there makes me happy. That little red horseshoe is cool. That's one of the things that I've mentioned in an earlier video. If I can allow myself to not feel like I need to pull a rabbit out of my hat every single time I do a video, and allow myself to work in a single color scheme or with a single concept. Get one more little skinny hoop out of this. Then I don't have to worry about a new color scheme, a new design concept every time I make a video, because sometimes that overwhelms me and I can't face the table. This table being the table, sometimes I just get overwhelmed and I can't make myself come in here because I want to be creative, but I want to deliver. It's hard to deliver continuously. So I do have to allow myself a little bit of grace. Tell you what this has been good for. I've had a couple people mention recently in my feed, in my comments, that they've thought about starting a channel. Let's talk about that for a few minutes, shall we? So what I'm using to create this art video that I'm showing you right now is an iPhone 13, which I bought used from Amazon. I would have rather that went in the other direction, but that's fine. I bought on Amazon for not a lot of money. I don't remember how much. I've got a stand that actually, one of my earlier videos has a lighting stand that either clamps to your desk or clamps to the side. It's clamped over my desk. I am not using any lighting. Lighting is a pain in the ass. Sorry for my mouth. Lighting is difficult because you get shadows if you don't know what you're doing, and who knows what they're doing when you first start trying to record art. So you get shadows and stuff. So I have a window right there, and I have a window probably 6 feet away over there. These are freaking cute. I have a wireless mic. And I'm not shy about people seeing it. I don't care if you're watching me make sausage. I have this, which is like $5. It's just a clicker that turns the phone on and off so that I can stop and give myself a break. And that's it. That's all the equipment I have. A little step stool so that I can stand up high enough to be able to see whether or not my camera's on, which doesn't always mean that works out. And when I first started doing this, my first couple of videos was just me sitting in front of the camera talking, with no intention, by the way, of publishing the video. I was just talking to my camera, telling a story about my son, about losing I didn't even know it was going to be about that. I decided, I followed somebody's advice, and they said, sit in front of a window and start talking to your phone so that you can get comfortable talking to your phone. I did that. And I decided that one of the things that this woman said was, all of your early videos suck. They're gonna be awful. All of your early videos will be awful. Post them anyways. Nobody's gonna watch them, and they don't. I think the reasons that people ended up watching mine is because I talked about Neil. I just sat there and talked. What did I do? Sat there and talked. I also would come over here and make art. Most of the time I didn't talk. Set it up. Pretend you're only doing it just to figure out how to record. And if it's not horribly embarrassing, even if it is, I can upload it to YouTube. Nobody's going to see it. Everybody expects your first videos to suck. But you can learn a lot. And what this has forced me to do, this has forced me to have a regular art practice, because I'm accountable to you guys. You come here, you've decided that you're going to sign up, click subscribe, do all those things. You're going to be willing to follow me on my journey. And I want to give you what you have come here for. You don't have to talk. I know I'm a talker. And everybody says, well, what will I talk about? Don't talk about anything. There's plenty of artists with channels. I have the cap in my mouth, sorry. Plenty of artists with channels who voice over, which means record your voice while you're watching your video, telling somebody what you did. That's a viable thing. Okay, this has changed, huh? This is going to go sit in the sun again. So I'm going to be back, and I won't remember what I'm talking about now. So maybe, yeah, I'll be back. BRB. Okay, guys. I have been away for several days, but I've been having fun. But I'm back to this thing, and to be honest with you, I don't know where to take this. Let's try this. This is a sketchbook. Some of you have seen it before. It is full of, I started this in, who knows, 2024 at some point. And my sketchbooks are usually just experiments. You've seen some of these. I've offered these as papers and stuff, but what I'm thinking about. All right, so this started out to be similar to this, just a bunch of papers glued down, and then I did a neurographic thing over it and created this. Same thing with this. This might be what I'm thinking of. Okay, so look at this. I know this part's pretty and cute, but let's ignore that for a minute. Look at this. This is just pages glued down, scraps glued down. I drew lines over them, and then I colored them with, these are water-based paint pens, whatever they're called, but I also bought a new set of Ohuhu they're not markers, whatever they are, they're alcohol whatevers. This is the only thing I can think of to do for the next thing. So let's, pardon me, let's just go with the concept of neurographic over this. I want to leave this out where I can keep an eye on it in case I lose my way. I'm not scared, I'm brave. All right. Neurographic art, if you have not heard of it or if you're new to it, and I'm not a professional, I just understand, is drawing organic lines in this direction and then in that direction, and then potentially coloring in some of the corners. But I didn't do that on this. I just did this and then I colored it in. Let's see. This is just a Sharpie magic marker. Let's find out if it writes. It does for now. And everything, this is very dry. So let's just do this. I'm going to just do some organic lines. Organic meaning, you know, like that. Okay, it goes that way. Let's start up here. These, I have to tell you that I am a big fan of Sharpie Magic Marker on completely dry stuff. If you use it on acrylic paint and the acrylic paint is wet, these will become useless. They won't write. Okay, that's even worse than it was a minute ago. But hold on, let me refer to my thing that I like. I don't know where I got the picture of that flower, but it makes me kind of happy and makes me want to draw one here. I think that might actually be a piece of scrap paper. This is one of the ideas I thought of, doing this and then painting inside of it like this, which would have taken up a big swath, but that might be for another one. I need to keep this open. This is my inspiration. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to just do some stuff. Hold on. I am deliberately holding this pen loosely so that I don't like to try to draw things to look real because I don't know how to. And so I like to fake it so that if it comes out bad, it's because I faked it, not because I don't have talent. Sure, here's one here. I'm not, this is very random, guys. If you decide you want to try this, don't be careful. Careful looks stilted, at least for me. Careful looks scared. Flower. Here, over here. Why not go overboard? Because why not? So, all right, let me go get my oh-hoo-hoos. Hold on. I am rich with markers. What are these called? Are these markers? What are these called? They're markers. They call them markers. These are my oh-hoo-hoo. And I bought them on Amazon, and I'm almost 100% sure that there's a link in the description, but if there's not, I will link it. Look at all these colors, which I carefully created swatches of. This, let me get this out of the way. This, my brother found on the side of the road. He found a bag on the side of the road that must have fallen maybe out of the bed of a pickup truck. Look at what somebody lost, guys. Look at what they lost. Some girl, I'm assuming, some girl, maybe some guy, lost their markers. And look at these. So I haven't played with these yet. And I can't imagine that I will need them when I have 100 of these. But these came with, what do these have? They have a paintbrush on one end and a really fine magic marker on the other. And the oh-hoo-hoos have a paintbrush on, I guess they call it a paintbrush on one end and a thick chisel marker on the other side, which I've never used. Okay, so if any of you guys are going to buy yourselves a set of markers, let me show you what I recommend that you do. The colors on the caps of the marker, the colors on the caps of the markers are fake news. They in no way. They might relate to the fact that this is a warm color, but there's no guarantee that this is going to be what it is. So what I ended up doing was creating, I just took watercolor paper, I created swatches, I wrote the number down, and I loosely grouped them by colors. I'm going to copy myself, okay? I'm going to copy myself and go with this kind of a color scheme, which will be purples, which I have. So purples are mixed in with that. And those are all blues and greens largely. And here's all reds. So I'm going to start with that. Try to figure out how I can get my head close to you without in the camera. We'll see. Okay, so disclaimer, I don't know about the talking part. The reason, I have plenty to say, as any of you who know me can attest to the fact that I have plenty to say, but I can't edit around my talking. So I'm going to go quiet for a little while unless I change my mind.
All right, this is a brand new song I just finished writing here. I'm going to try to get through it for you here. Here we go. Looked in the mirror, what did I see? Old man staring back at me with tired eyes. I remember when I was young, thought I could fly above the sun, watch me fly. The world is my oyster, it's laden with pearls, won't you fly? I've told some tall stories, I've sang my own songs. We're just looking for some place to belong, to get by. Short road before us, a long one behind. You're afraid to see what you might find, you won't shine. World is your oyster, all laden with pearls, won't you shine? I felt love and I'm blessed with friends. If I could do it all over again, I would try. Done some good things, but I've done some bad. Taking for granted all the good things I have with blind eyes. The world is my oyster, it's laden with pearls, watch me fly. Good Lord, how fast these years have passed. Pray many more before the last, before I die. Some memories get hazy, some fade away. Don't put off love if you can love today, go and fly. I'm sad I can't be what I used to be. You'll be surprised with these old eyes see, that's why I fly. World is my oyster, it's laden with pearls, watch me fly. World is my oyster, all laden with pearls, watch me fly. All right, well there you go. That's a rough cut of the new one.
So I can see some things in here. I can see some things in here if I hadn't put these big ugly orange flowers on here. Would have been really pretty. So I think I'm going to avoid the urge to do this the next time I do this, because this is pretty. Look at how pretty this stuff is. These are killjoys, but that's all right. I'll fix them later. Okay, this video is going to be like 8 hours long, but I'm going to keep going because I'm having fun. Okay, I was away for a couple of minutes trying to figure out what I want to do next, and this is what I've decided. I have a lot to color in here, but I want to cover some things up because I think if I liked these better, I would be more inspired to finish this. Maybe add some different layers or whatever. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you how I'll do it. This is deli paper. If you have tracing paper, it'll do the job. If you have tissue paper, that would probably do the job as well. Let's find out. Not as easily. What I want to do is I want to cut out petals out of some of the papers, out of some papers that will be roughly larger than these. And in order to do that, let me get all these, let me get these pens and stuff out of the way. In order to do that, I want to be able to see the detail. Okay, that's a making me happy. I don't know what's going to happen with these, but I like them better. I didn't like what was happening there. All right, I am breaking tradition, and I am throwing scraps on the floor because I have so many scraps. I can't I can't see what's happening on my table. That's what I'm going to do. It's almost 5. It's getting darker for me in here. I'm going to let this dry until the next time I come back. And then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with these. But I am much, greatly, much happier than I was with this a couple minutes ago, a little while ago. Hey, thanks for hanging out. I'll be back. See ya. I have been away for a long time, like as much time as weeks. But I'm back. I have been riding my motorcycle all over the state, having a blast, giving myself carpal tunnel. Anyways, this is what I have after my last go-round with you guys. And I'm going to take the short path and I'm going to do something similar to this. But I don't know how to, the part that I don't know how to do is draw on top of this with all of this chaos. So it's probably going to end up, I'm going to figure it out. I've got a picture in my mind of all over very simple flowers and leaves. And I might regret having not finished coloring these things in, but I can do that after. So all I have that I think is going to show on this is just a gold Sharpie. I don't know how much life it has left inside of it, but we're going to find out. So this might require a little bit of concentration, so I can't say that I'm going to talk. And that means I'm going to have to cover up all this really thick gold. This could be one of those things I bail on, guys. Let's find out. And I'm wearing my good denim jacket because I just got back from having breakfast with my friend Frank, who is in love. Frank is in love, and I'm happy for him. This is Bare Ultra Pure, Ultra White Pure, Ultra Pure White. It's house paint. It's acrylic house paint from Home Depot. When I see people doing this kind of reverse painting and getting sophisticated results, I cannot imagine how they are doing it, how they can see what they're getting rid of. Okay, I did some stuff without you guys watching because I needed to get my face very close, like this close. Okay, so what I did was I painted that out. I painted the second layer on that and I can get really close and see the shapes. Then I also, behind your back, did this, which you cannot see. And I think probably what I'm going to do now off camera is I just want to take my paintbrush and I want to paint around the edges of these shapes, which will allow me to paint and talk to you at the same time without my head being in the camera. So if you will indulge me for a moment, I will be back. Okay, I thought I would bring you guys back in even though I am trying to just go around the edges. You see what's happening here? You see how everything's turning blue? I'm using white paint. That's because I switched on this page from alcohol-based markers to water-based markers. And there's a couple things I like about it. I like the way that it is gradually changing the colors, but my preference for this type of work is to not introduce color into it because I like the white. So this is not something I have a lot of experience with. I mostly do this kind of work in my sketchbook because I don't have a lot of skill when it comes to using a paintbrush, although I am learning. It's kind of like riding a motorcycle. I am learning to get around these corners with a little bit more ease. So if any of you are wanting to try this, do not expect it to be easy. It's not, but it actually is kind of fun. It's a challenge to try to figure out what stays and what goes away. You know, like I can see this weird wonky flower here, and I can see its leaves, which was just as hard to draw as it is to paint. Okay, wanted to show you this. This is still a little bit wet, but look, this is holds 120 something markers. These are all my Ohuhu markers, which I started trying to put them in order. That's crazy talk, because they're never going to go back in the same places. So I've got my blues and greens together, and my pinks and yellows and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so that's what I did. That's what I did. Anyways, I wanted to show you that. What I'm planning on doing next, once this dries a little bit, I just want to color these in a little bit more, and then I'm going to call it a day. And I don't know if you can tell, but the sun is not out, but apparently the Wizard of Oz is not going to happen here today, so it's nice and quiet. So I'm going to, this is still wet. This I'm probably never going to be able to get that white. I've tried several times, so it's going to stay the way it is. But what I'd like to try, these are alcohol, which means I can paint on these and get some decent results. So let's just see what happens here. I don't know what color I've picked, but I know from experience that when I use these markers to color in these collages, this is what I love about it. I get to keep all of the color, all of the pattern, and then it just modifies these colors just enough to give them some strength. And so these shapes look a little bit more unified, because if you watched this video, and if you did watch the whole thing, yay you, because this is a long one. You saw that this is Taming the Chaos. I did a lot of layers, because that's really what's fun about doing this kind of art, is just watching it evolve. I like that. I'm leaving it out. These things are not light fast, so they're okay for a sketchbook or a greeting card or something. But if you're going to make anything that you think you're going to hang on the wall in its natural state, these markers are not the best bet. But since I've started photocopying my work, oh, that's pretty. Since I started photocopying my work, And working with the photocopies, I don't have to worry about it fading because it's a printer. It's a printed piece of art. And maybe that's not like fine art, but I'm not making fine art. I'm making craft. I don't know that I'll ever be a fine artist. I don't know that I'm curious enough or disciplined enough to hammer away at a single thing in order to master it. My creative way of doing things is to just keep trying different stuff, which I used to have a little bit of. I had a hard time with the fact that I was that way. That felt like a character defect, that I couldn't stay. Oh, look at that. I must have rubbed on that. I have to paint it out. I used to feel like it was a character defect that I couldn't stick to one thing. But you know what? People like me, people like us, you guys, if you're watching this, you're creative. How boring it would it be to watch somebody paint if you're not interested in, you know, creating yourself? We figure things out. We solve problems. We are the creators in the world. Nothing would get done without us. Everybody just keep doing the same stuff over and over again. I guess what my quest has been is to find my style. But it took somebody in my comments to say, you're always talking about looking for your style. Look at your work. It's got style. It's got a specific look to it. It does. So experiment in a sketchbook. And don't even make it a fancy sketchbook. This is a map book that I bought at Goodwill for 92 cents. And I know there are some people who think it's sacrilege that I would wreck such a good book. But it's a book. There's probably thousands more just like it. Sketchbook. Okay, that's a little green thing. Let's give it a friend. One page. Cute. I would like to learn how to draw over my chaos so that I can get more solid results. I would like, let me give this a little, give it a leg. Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to see what I'm drawing, but you know what? I couldn't see what I was drawing, and this is freaking cute. Okay, I'm gonna color in the rest of this stuff, and then I'll come back and say hello or goodbye or something of that nature. BRB. Okay, I may not be the president anymore, but I'm still on the board, so they hunt me down. So he's going to be calling me back in a minute, but I've got the phone on vibrate, and I'll just put you guys on hold and deal with my biz and come back to you. I was wondering what I was going to do with this one, which is mostly dark, but I think this teal is going to tie everything together. Yeah, this teal is dark enough to... There he is. BRB. Okay, that took too long, but while I was talking to him, I was coloring this in. So this is coming out fun. I'm going apple again. Okay, I've got this little bit to color in, and then I'm going to call it a day and start thinking about my next video, and hopefully I won't be weeks. I am penalized so hard by YouTube. So you know how, well, just while I'm coloring things in, you know how this works, right? So once you get, I don't remember what the numbers are anymore. I think it's like 1,000 followers and so many watch time hours, they allow you to be monetized. And when you are monetized, That means they can run ads on your video and you get paid. So because of the nature of my channel, my channel is considered a to-do channel. And because of the nature of that, you know, there's a certain amount of money that advertisers are willing to pay. It's one of the more popular categories. So for a while there, I was making pretty, for me, decent money. I mean, I'm living in a mobile home. I'm living on Social Security. So I was making probably, I don't know, $400 a month, sometimes $500, sometimes more. And since I have not been posting regularly, like once a week, which is what YouTube wants me to do, my earnings are pretty much gone. I'm down to about $200 a month. And, you know, I won't starve without the YouTube money, but it allows me to, you know, I don't know, to have a little bit of personal freedom. So I would like to be able to make the algorithm, this is a cute ass flower, I'd like to be able to make the algorithm happy so it doesn't punish me. And post more regularly, but you know, if the pressure, your girl is a little bit fragile. I'm kind of a tough cookie. You know, I can be very willful and stuff. But I'm also I'm fragile in the sense that I ride the highs and lows. I ride them, baby. When I'm happy, I've never been sad. And when I'm sad, I've never been happy. I'm one of those. So I can't promise anything and guarantee that I'm going to deliver. I can just do my best. Okay, so this is done. Let me just get this stuff out of the way. I want to review this. Okay. I have tamed these 2 pages. They were out of their minds. So I've tamed these 2 pages. This is called negative painting. I'm never going to be able to get rid of this blue, but I don't mind it. So if you want to try this, you don't really have to be that careful about what you put on the background. And the challenge is learning where to draw things so that you can see what to paint around it. But this was fun for me. I did not honestly think I was going to finish it. I didn't think I was going to get it done. I was going to bail on you guys. Anyways, my name is Cherie Burlington. I'm an artist, an errant, an angel mom, and I enjoy making art. Excuse me, I'm blowing my nose at the same time. I enjoy making art and showing it to you when I enjoy it. And when I don't, that's a whole nother story. Anyways, come back, watch my channel if you want to, tell your friends if you feel like it. If you're not subscribed and you'd like to be, that would be great. And, you know, this stuff that we have to ask you and stuff like that. Do all those things. I appreciate you. Bye.